Hey, God bless you. This is Carlos.
And Alicia.
You are tuned into Bible Wise Money. This is the third episode where we are looking at consumerism. Come inside the video and we'll talk about it.
So I'm going to read a scripture for you. Proverbs 21:20. It reads, "The wise have wealth and luxury, but fools spend on whatever they get."
So as you guys may recall, that's the flagship scripture that we've used in the previous two episodes as we've been examining consumerism. In this episode, we're going to look at the third aspect. And what this is consumerism is creating in our society today value that people will pay for where value did not previously exist. And here are a couple of examples of that. How many of you guys remember where television was completely and totally free? You laughed. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay, how many channels did we have back in those days?
God, 13. That was it.
Right. It was channel 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. 7 channels.
Oh, don't forget the U channel.
Then you had UHF, where you had, if you were lucky and you could flip through the dials, you can catch, I know my mom would enjoy catching channel 41 and channel 47, which are still the Spanish channels in the New York City area. So you had very limited opportunity to see television programming. And what happened, babe? I guess it was at midnight every night.
Mm-hmm. You heard the anthem, the national anthem, with the flag waving.
The flag would wave, and what would happen?
The TV shut down.
The TV went off. Ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, especially you millennials, there was a time at 3 o'clock in the morning, if you turned on your television, there was nothing to see.
Mm-hmm.
Just static.
Color.
That was it, just gray. Fast forward a generation. Now you got, literally thousands of channels.
And thousands of channels.
Yeah, networks. And what do? We pay to watch television content. If you would turn back the clock a generation ago and say, there's going to be a day where you pay for your content, you probably would have said, that day will never come. You're kidding me. You're ridiculous. It's not going to happen. I will never pay for my TV service. And guess what we do a generation later? Pay for our TV service. Yeah. There's more. How many of you guys out there recall when the days before bottled water? When you were growing up, where did you drink water from?
The faucet or the hydrant.
There you go. Thank you. Said like a true New Yorker. You had free water coming out the faucet. If you were outside and you were running around and you were playing, especially as a kid, there had to be somewhere, because it was usually in the summer, a Johnny pump that was open, fire hydrant, and you would drink water from the fire hydrant. And it was all free. Bottled water, selling water, buying water is currently about a $20 billion a year industry here in the United States. So bottled water is new. So what does this have to do with consumerism? So a generation ago, a bunch of very smart consumer marketing, advertising type people said, hey, let's see if we can create value and get people to pay something that they're currently getting for free. I think it's amazing. So they did it with television. They did it with water. How about coffee? What do you recall about where did your mom get her coffee? Where did you, if you want to buy coffee, where did you get coffee when you were younger? A generation ago.
My grandmother, she would buy coffee from the supermarket and she would make it at home.
That's right. You buy the can of Bustelo or whatever. What's the most you think you've ever paid for a coffee?
Oh, growing up, maybe 50 cents.
But now, let's say within the last couple of years.
$5.
Aha!
$6, $7.
Right, we're talking about usually it's like Starbucks or something, right? So one of the things consumerism has done, they built this entire kind of aura around coffee, and they're creating value where there never used to be value. So again, this wasn't always the way it was. Just a generation ago, if you paid more than 50 cents, or if you didn't make your own coffee at home, probably someone would say, what's wrong with you? We're paying for things because someone has said there is extra value, and we're going to figure out how to extract more money from consumers. So I already did some research because I said, what's the most ridiculous thing that I can think of that we get for free that someday someone will probably pay money for? And I came up with this idea of air. Basically oxygen. And guess what I found out? There are people today who already sell air. This is an eBay listing. I'm going to show you as well. Fresh air from the Shutdown Glacier. Sold on eBay. It is basically a small bag of air, as you can see from the picture. And the price is $202 on eBay, with $55 for shipping. They are selling air. Here is a CNBC article that I'm showing you right now about Canadians that are selling cans of fresh air to China. So apparently in some of the largest cities in China, like Beijing and some of the other ones that are really overcrowded, the air is so bad that people in these areas are willing to buy cans of air from Canada.
Wow.
I mean, you think about it, it's amazing. And we think about it and say, well, that's a very niche market. It's probably very, very small, but it's growing in popularity. So think about it. I don't think it's too far to imagine there's going to be a day where, let's say in your home, you might have like an oil truck that pulls up and sells you your oil, as they do now. And then you might have another truck that comes up and pumps fresh air into your home. So, right. So you don't have to go out and breathe whatever foulness is out in the street or whatever the stench of your neighborhood is. You can say, yeah, I'm getting my air delivery today. So don't be surprised if a generation from now, a good part of their budget is going to be set aside for not only coffee, not only their television, but for air. People are already paying for air.
You said fresh air. What if they would actually purchase air that wasn't fresh? So for someone who may be interested in New York City stench. It is a unique scent. It is.
Check out our eBay store. You could just go in the average teenager's hamper. You parents who are out there who have a 14-year-old, we've raised a couple of teenagers. Yes. So we know, and you know teenagers, they like to keep their doors closed. So and if it's 2 days before laundry day and you open that door, what hits you? Like a blast of hot air.
Yep.
New York stench at its finest. I'm surprised, but at the same time, I'm never surprised when something winds up becoming, I guess, where people see value in paying for something. So could it be New York stench? And here's some examples of just kind of strange one-off things that I've experienced and seen, and I think you'll get a kick out of some of these things. I recall going to the Circus. What was it? The Barnum and Bailey Circus. This goes back maybe 30 years ago. At Madison Square Garden. And when I left the garden, there was this line that was going around the block. And you know how we are as New Yorkers. We see a line and say, what are people standing in line for? Yeah. Maybe I should get online. I have no idea what it's for. And these people are holding these large, like the hefty sized garbage bags. And at the front of the line was piles of elephant dung. So the circus folks were selling the elephant dung, and people could not get enough. They were lining up, and they were literally shoveling it, and you would buy it, you buy it by the pound. elephant dung. And I guess, as I understand, if you're into gardening, that's like very rich
fertilizer.
Great fertilizer. I just couldn't figure out, like, okay, you're at the garden, you're on 34th Street. How exactly are you getting this stuff home? Like, are you jumping on the number 2 train with like 45 pounds of Dumbo's finest? I mean, are you going to would you throw it into the backseat of the car? Put it between the kids. Hey kids, don't open this. But that's what they were selling. They were selling elephant dung. I set up a couple of other ones. Alicia, click on the
Pet rocks? No.
Okay.
I never had a pet rock.
All right. Alicia is looking at now, and I'm going to bring it up on the screen right now, the pet rock. These became popular back in the early 70s. Talk about consumerism at its best. Some brilliant person sitting in a corporate office says, hey, let's sell rocks to people. And it would come, I think they still have them actually. I don't think they're very popular. It came in a little box with grass, like a nest, and then it was a stone. It was a rock, and it might have come with a name on it, or like maybe like a little birth certificate. I don't recall that much about, but people were selling pet rocks, and they were actually very, very popular. And that would be the kind of thing you would go to your mother and say, hey, I want a pet rock for Christmas. Right. Forget about buying expensive toys. Just go to the park and dig up a couple of stones and you're good. But anyway, pet rocks were popular back in the day. Here's another one that I saw online. There's actually been a trend very recently for parents to sell naming rights. And so this was actually happening. And some of the names that came up, these are real names that were given to children. Gouda, Bologna, Xerox, the child named Xerox, Camry. Someone sold the naming rights to their child and they named their child Camry. And apparently you can get thousands and thousands of dollars for this. What are you looking at?
A Dorito. Somebody's selling a Dorito that is shaped like the Pope's hat.
And what did it sell for?
$1,209.
That's right. Someone paid $1,200 for a Dorito shaped like the hat of the Pope. So again, what is this? We're making a little bit of fun of this. This is creating value where there really should be no value, but there is. Right. Dorito. Goodness, I seem to recall one of the very early eBay controversies. A man was selling his kidney.
Oh, that's
extra kidney on eBay.
That's terrible.
And the bidding got up over $5 million. So you think about it, if you're on a waiting list and you're, if you're rich and you can buy a kidney for a few $1 million, you would do it. And I recall that it was very controversial because the man basically, that's all he had. So think about it. If you're down on your luck, you're one step away from being evicted, or you've just been evicted, or you're out in the street, or you've lost your job, or you're destitute, and you've lost all hope. This is what people were saying. Why shouldn't he be able to sell off an extra kidney that would totally change his life and maybe get him back on track, or the family back on track? At the end of the day, eBay stepped in and they actually stopped the auction. But it did get up over $5 million. And just so you're aware, selling body parts is actually illegal in the United States. Again, there's probably a black market for it, but you certainly can't do it on eBay. I have no idea where you would go and sell a body part to. What is the next one, Alicia?
Virgin Mary and grilled cheese. Not a hoax.
And what did it sell for?
$28,000.
So you can see by this picture, someone was making French toast or grilled cheese, right?
Grilled cheese.
Grilled cheese, and it appears that an image of the Virgin Mary is in the cheese or on the bread.
It does look like
It looks like Betty Davis to me.
Oh.
So just check next time you make breakfast. you, you may be sitting on a gold mine.
Check your omelet.
Check your omelet. Check that steak. Sold it on eBay for how much?
$28,000.
$28,000. People found value in this, finding value where there is no value.
Sad.
Yeah. Here is another one. Believe it or not. Actually, I want you to look at this one.
Ooh, what?
Okay.
Donate your stool. Apply to become a Poop with Purpose stool donor.
So, if you want to know what your purpose is in life, this is a company that basically says your purpose is to be a poop donor. The article talks about you can make $13,000 a year donating your poop stool.
Wow. I'm in the wrong business.
So I've got an idea. We're talking about taking $100 and turning it into $10,000 and go to Hawaii. You can just give me like a White Castle gift card and 30 days. And we'll be on the beach next month.
You have to call in people with white suits afterward.
And so here's one last one I want to bring to your attention. Someone selling on eBay New York City Snowballs. 2 snowballs for $10,000. Plus $2,000 for shipping for snowballs. And it's not clear to me whether they sold, but I would not be surprised. Someone in Arizona buying 2 New York City snowballs. This is during the snowstorm of 2016. So what am I saying in all this? I'm saying is there's some very bright, ingenious people who understand consumerism, who understand consumer behavior, who are all about creating value where there currently is no value. And then ultimately it's us as consumers who are paying the price for that. And so this is important because, again, it fits into what we've been speaking about not only our personal finances, but also our business finances, that we really have to see consumerism for what it does, that it really causes an increase in demand for us as consumers. And if we're not very careful and if we're not very astute and very aware, we are spending thousands and thousands of dollars on something that we value, probably because someone has told us or taught us or conditioned us to say this should have greater value than it maybe has historically even had. And the challenge for you and I is that it's all these elements of consumerism, and there are others, and I'll do future videos, but it's all these elements in consumerism that ensure that we cannot reach our financial goals. It winds up draining our resources, winds up draining our money. It makes it very difficult, if not impossible, to set long-term financial goals because we never get there. Because between where we are now financially and where we desire to be, there's all these aspects of consumerism which extract value from us. So it is a very serious topic. We're going on to the more serious topic coming up, which is this issue of debt. See you inside the next video. God bless you.
God bless.
I feel like do I have man boobs?
Please don't use that for the bloopers. Anyway.
I think they're coming in.
Go put on a sweater.